What's up, you beautiful collectors and Transformer fans? Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the absolutely incredible contributions from all of my Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager Class JUNKHEAP. All the way from the Transformers the movie film, this was one that I was kind of on the fence about. We got Wreck-Gar some time ago, and JUNKHEAP here is a character that we kind of saw in the movie, but really didn't have much of a role per se. This is just a nice way to kind of add on a Junkion to be around Wreck-Gar. For the package, as you can see, you got the Transformers Text Generation logo, Transformers the movie logo right up here, the stupid open window. Then, of course, you got an up-close image of him in his robot mode, up-close image of his face. Come around to the other side, that pullback image that we kind of see more of this picture right here. Come around to the back of the package. Being that he is big screen inspired, you got a backdrop for him. This will be a little bit bigger than some of the deluxe ones, as obvious. And then, of course, you got images of him in his robot as well as his vehicle mode. Obviously, he is a repaint, but there are some remolded parts on there, which kind of makes sense because he's a new character. Well, not really new, but you know what I mean. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have JUNKHEAP opened up out of his packaging, and obviously, as you can see, in his motorcycle mode. And honestly, I'm a lot more impressed with this figure than I originally thought I would be. Granted, he is a repaint and retool of, obviously, Wreck-Gar, but there's enough done to this guy that really makes him stand out separately from that previous figure. Now, the name JUNKHEAP kind of comes from two different things. In the original animated movie, obviously Wreck-Gar was done, and two other Junkions were basically drawn and designed. One being Junkyard, and the other being Scrap Heap. Instead of making two, I guess they just combined those two names to give us JUNKHEAP. Or maybe they just couldn't use those generic names. But we did see this particular character, whatever you want to call him, kind of standing next to Wreck-Gar when the Autobots first met the Junkions on the planet of Junk. But he is a little bit different. Part of the remolded aspect of this guy are these little bits here on the side, which are like little arm shields in his robot mode. That's a concept design that didn't actually make it into the film, but I love that they brought it in here. Because again, it kind of differentiates him from Wreck-Gar and helps to kind of establish that new character, or at least round him out some. You see a lot of those remolded bits right in here in the front. Kind of mostly on the sides, obviously, and then the chest bit right here. A lot of the rest of this stuff is pretty much the same. Let's bring in the Wreck-Gar figure, and again, a lot of it, well, I mean, like, the arms are remolded, like, so the front section, I didn't even notice that before, so the little front sections right there, obviously the chest is different, the whole top section here, this is all completely different as well. The window might be the same. Obviously, his head is different. The gas tank thing here, that looks no, that's different as well. That's impressive. So, I mean, you can see, like, the little lines right there that this one doesn't have. That's impressive. The legs are slightly different. There are added bits on there, so that's a little bit different, I want to say. The back section, the tires, those are all the same, but there are a lot of really redone parts on here, and I don't have his kickstands out here, so let's just bring that. I'll do both of them to make them be able to actually stand here. It's tough to get to because I don't have very functional fingernails. But you can see that there is some similarities, like in the back area. Well, no, technically I should say that the legs are remolded because they added tabs and everything to get this section here to lock in. So they look the same, but they are slightly remolded. But very similar, obviously, as kind of they should be. But again, enough differences that really kind of help them stand out. And I love that. They both have the same weapon, which is this little spinning axe thing. That's identical. Even the colors look the exact same. So those really don't change or anything. And then, obviously, these are going to detach and become different parts on the robot mode. For Wreck-Gar's, they were on like the arm and the leg, on the exact same for him. They're going to both be on his legs. So again, really very, very cool. Now, obviously, I have him. Let me bring in, and just because I have him sitting here, let's bring the Deluxe Class Ironhide. Now, this is obviously from a completely different line, but if you really wanted to, you know, just gonna spread these out, and you know, you can see that it works. You can have a Autobot or whatever riding on them. I feel like Wreck-Gar might be a little bit too big. I guess you could probably do it here. Let me try something quick, and boom, here we go, instantly. Well, almost instantly, but you can take this guy very easily. And you got the little, underneath here, you have a little tab that actually lines up with that. So you can really get that to work perfectly. I mean, they designed it that way where you can get that on there. Now, it's a little bit harder to do. You got to get some creative posing going here with his knees and such. But 100% you can get that. That just looks kind of weird. But totally you can do that. But he definitely looks a little bit too big to be on a similar size bike, I guess. And I gotta figure out a way to tighten that, because I don't like how that just kind of detaches like that. But hey, look, spoiler alert for the upcoming comparison shot between these guys. Yeah, that get him. What is happening? He's kind of a fiddly kind of dude, like right here. There we go. Yeah. Look at that. Comparison for you. Now, transformation is basically the same, but as I talked about, there is some slight differences, so I'm going to go through it just going to be thorough. First, I'm going to separate all these, take the tire things out, just because that always kind of gets in the way. We're just going to put that there. Now, these little bits right here, they do tab in. It is kind of a tricky sort of thing, so much like you had before, so I'm going to rotate these around and bring that around here. So you do have the tab section that locks things in underneath here. You got this little bit right here and the foot. When you line that up, though, a lot of times when you're trying to line up the back section here, let me see here. I'm trying to get that done. So that's locked in, and now you can see, and I apologize, I said that was remolded. That's not. It's the foot that's a little bit different, and only the top section right here, but you have a little tab right there that does lock in on the back of this. You can see that little slot right here. It's kind of tricky to do, to be totally honest with you. Get that out of the way. Bring that around, and it's tricky because this wants to move at the same time, but you just bring this around and kind of, it's hard to see on the inside there. Just line that up, push that in. A lot of times, though, that will make the foot section detach. As long as you have one of them kind of connected, it doesn't really matter. It kind of locks in there pretty decently. But on mine, this is very stiff, so if you try moving this around, it kind of dislodges everything there. So just be careful when you're doing it. So go ahead and detach that. We're going to rotate that all the way around. Put that right there. Do that on this side as well. This one's a little bit easier because it doesn't hang over nearly as much. So again, detach that from the side of the foot. Rotate that around. Put that there. Bring the feet down. Or the legs down. Straighten this. You can take the little sections there. Pull that back. And this is all going to come up and hinge up and around. Now, this also does get a little bit different where these lock in as opposed to locking in on the forearms. They lock in on the bicep section right there. It's the same type of tab right there, but you got to bring that up and that locks in that. So detach that. Swivel that all the way around. Bring this whole section out like so. Collapse the window. Bring this in. Bring all this out. And this whole section is going to accordion down and in. Let's see, get that. Sorry. Come on. Alright, so rotate you. This is gonna accordion down and in to the cavity right there. And then this is going to come in much like the other guys. And that locks in there. rotate that around. Do that on this side as well. And make sure that that locks down. That actually, that's not as secure as a tab, but it does feel a little bit better. Straighten all that. The hands are still a pain in the butt to get out. Rotate those out. Rotate those out. Straighten all this. And then, like I said, you had originally Wreck-Gar, where you would put these on, or the tires on here, but because these are there, that kind of gets in the way, so it's easier and more, I guess, accurate to tab them in down here where the legs are, nice and tight, kind of get him looking cool. And when you're done, get his ankles tilted. Yeah, so like this section right here, the foot's the same. It's this top section here that has that little tab that Wreck-Gars didn't have. So that's another slight difference. But when you're done, there you have JUNKHEAP. It is really very cool and surprisingly very accurate looking robot mode. And in the robot mode here, this is where you can see a lot more of those changes, but still get the very clear impression that he's a Junkion. Now, just doing the comparison right up front, getting that out of the way, here we have JUNKHEAP. And now, for the proper comparison, here is Wreck-Gar. And again, there is quite clearly a similarity between the two. But again, the changes that they made really do help just to completely make this look like a new character. And I think they do a great job. I still don't like this ratchet joint thing that they have here. It's a little bit, like I said, either... I said it in this. It's either too close or too spread out. So let's just kind of straighten that up just for the time being. Clearly, though, you can see a lot of those differences. The head is completely different. One thing that I do like on this is they made these little bits here articulated, so you can kind of move those around, which that's kind of neat. I dig that. But you can see the head is different, the chest and the upper body section. This section right here in the middle, that's the same, but the arms are different. You can see that the shoulder sections here have these little spikes on them, which look good. And then the forearms are actually different as well. You can see this has this little bulbous section which sticks out. This part here doesn't. And then you do have that. Like I said, it's meant to be like a shield sort of thing. It's really just added bits that are on there. This has more of a gun kind of look on there. The crotch section is the same. These little bits here are the same. The legs are identical. As far as I can tell, the only thing that really changes, as I talked about, is that little tab section down here. But when you put the tires down there, it makes it look different, which is, again, absolutely fantastic. It really is quite surprising, just how... I really shouldn't be all that surprised, though. They've been doing this for a while, where they've been taking figures that look absolutely perfect one way, and then somehow kind of re-engineering them and giving us basically new characters with the same kind of structure as that original one. So, again, here you have the Junkions, both Wreck-Gar and JUNKHEAP, looking like Junkions, but different enough that it really does give you two distinct character looks, which is fantastic. And it makes sense, because Junkions are going to be like swapping parts and things like that. So it all makes sense. Now, for his articulation, as you can see, those little bits right here can articulate around. You can kind of move those and get them how you really want, but they're more designed to have this little front sort of sloping look, and that is a great head sculpt. It's a little bit dark, but I love that head sculpt. But you do have the ball joint right up here for the neck. You do have a swivel hinge joint thing going on for the shoulders. Rotation at the bicep. You have a hinge here at the elbow. The wrists don't... Oh, they do rotate. I'm sorry. Those do rotate around, and then you got the open hole right there. This is a little bit loose. I wish I could probably tighten that, to be totally honest. But I do wish it would lock down a little bit better. I wish that was a more solid tab right there. But I will say that his kind of lock right there is a little bit better than the Wreck-Gar that I have in my collection. You do have little hip pieces that can slide out so you can get an outward motion. The ratchet joint is pretty solid, but like I said, I don't like it's either too far out. I mean, I wish it was more like around here. Just a little bit kind of in between. You have a rotation at the upper part of the thigh. You have a bend here at the knee itself. The ankles do move forward and back, and then you do have ankle tilt, which is nice. So all the articulation that was in Wreck-Ar is there. Again, it's a new character, and it works beautifully. I think they did a absolutely stand out job with this guy. He just really does scream super cool Junkion. But there you go, guys. There's your look at the new Transformers Studio Series Voyager Class JUNKHEAP from the 1986 animated movie. This guy is available right now at various retailers, or you can do the real simple thing and go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, or even Entertainment Earth. One special thing that I have worked out with Entertainment Earth is that if you click on the link in the video description, in addition to a lot of their promotions where you can get free shipping, using my link will get you 10% off all in-stock items. So going that route can help you guys out and help show your support for my channel. If you can do a little bit more, consider becoming a member of Optibotimus Plus, where you can get access to the Optibotimus Plus Discord, members-only live streams and Zoom calls, as well as extra entries for all of my giveaways. The link for that is also down in the video description. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. As always, I want to thank you all for tuning in, and please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.